All right, everybody. I'm Logan Alec. I'm a CPA, and this is my update for Saturday, March 13th. As I mentioned yesterday, some of y'all are already seeing stimulus deposits in your bank accounts, either as accessible money now. That's mostly for these kind of new platforms like Chime. Others of you are seeing the deposit as pending. Seems that with many of the big brick and mortar banks, a lot of folks are seeing their stimulus deposit as pending for access to the funds on March 17th, St. Patty's Day. Of course, a lot of, when you'll have access to the funds depends on your bank. Now, if this is you, feel free to leave a comment below what platform you're using and what you're seeing in your bank right now, just to keep everybody informed. So even though the IRS is behind on something like 7 million tax returns, that apparently hasn't stopped them from starting to send out payments. But it could become a problem, particularly for those people who need to file 2020 taxes in order to be eligible for this stimulus. I'll put another link to the IRS statement on these stimulus payments for anyone who wants to check it out in more detail. Also, if you haven't seen any bank activity this weekend for your stimulus, you'll definitely want to check out the Get My Payment tool on Monday. The link to the Get My Payment tool is in the description below. I did notice that today the Get My Payment tool says 2021 Economic Impact Payment Status available. IRS said this tool will not be updated until Monday for the third stimulus, but I did see this message on screen today. I tried to get my parents' stimulus check status today using the tool. Of course, I got the dreaded payment status not available message. So if anyone out there has had luck using the Get My Payment tool this weekend for the third stimulus, please let us all know in the comments below what you're seeing on Get My Payment. If you see payment status not available, I wouldn't be too alarmed. Keep in mind that the IRS did say that the Get My Payment tool would be updated for stimulus number 3 on Monday, and it's obviously not Monday yet. Before we get into the rest of the news, I do want to highlight the video I put out yesterday. The first video I put out yesterday is on the 2021 child tax credit that was just passed in the American Rescue Plan Act. I know a lot of people will be affected by that. Please make sure to check out that video if you haven't already. If you have any questions about what's different for the child tax credit for 2021 compared to 2020. Now, keep in mind, the stimulus package only affected the child tax credit for tax year 2021, so it will be back to normal for tax year 2022 if nothing changes, but Democratic Senator Cory Booker is already leading a movement to keep those changes and expand the child tax credit as a way to combat ongoing child poverty. He told the press, "I've tried to coordinate a full court press in America to make the child tax credit and the earned income tax credit changes permanent in the United States of America so we can join our industrial peers and invest in America's children." This comes after Democratic Representatives Rosa DeLauro, Susan DelBene, and Richie Torres introduced legislation to permanently expand the child tax credit and found over 150 co-sponsors in the House of Representatives. So there's clearly a lot of support for this plan in at least some wings of the Democratic Party. Now, I'm not sure it would have the support to get every single Democrat on board, and it's even less likely that they would get 10 Republicans in the Senate on board without making some other changes to this plan. But this is still something that has the potential, maybe, to be included in that infrastructure bill. And even if it ends up being whittled down or tied to other legislation, it would still make a big difference for millions of families. So there's nothing concrete there to report on at this point. I'll, of course, keep an eye on the push from the left to permanently expand the child tax credit, and I'll let you know if anything changes on that front. Other than that, there isn't much to report on the direct payments or anything else from the stimulus package. Please keep each other informed on what you're seeing in your bank accounts. I will definitely be taking another shot at the Get My Payment tool tomorrow. Like I said, please let us all know in the comments if you have any luck with it. But for now, I'm going to cover a few other stories. Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi hinted at some points that may be included in the upcoming infrastructure bill. Pelosi said, "I have called upon the chairs of the committees of jurisdiction to work with their Republican counterparts to craft a big, bold, and transformational infrastructure package. Building our transportation system has long been bipartisan. It is our hope that spirit will prevail as we address other critical needs in energy and broadband, education and housing, water systems, and other priorities." So that's not very specific. That's some pretty vague language from Pelosi. We don't know exactly what they're trying to implement yet, but it does give you an idea of which areas that bill will likely focus on. Pelosi mentioned bipartisanship. Obviously, there hasn't been much of that recently in D.C., but there is a broad consensus behind the idea of an infrastructure plan, at least in theory. Devil's in the details, of course. One key question as we start to hear more about the infrastructure package will be whether the Democrats want to approach it through reconciliation, like they did with the stimulus, or whether they want to pass it in the normal way and try to get at least 10 Republican votes in the Senate. Democratic Senator and Environment and Public Works Chair Tom Carper Harper said last week that the infrastructure package could be passed by September. He also said that they're already working on that bill. So even though we don't know much at this point, this is still one of Biden's major legislative priorities in 2021, and we should hear more about it pretty soon. All right, everybody, that's all I have for you today. Of course, more stimulus payments should be going out this upcoming week. As I said, I hope some of you are able to leave comments with your experiences, whether you've seen anything in your account, what bank you're using, etc. If you haven't received your payment yet, like I said, don't worry. It's only been 2 days since this was passed. And remember, the White House originally said that payments wouldn't be going out until, the weekend, right? So personally, I was surprised that so many people had already received theirs, or at least seen some activity in their bank account yesterday morning. So just hang tight. If you got the first two without a glitch, there shouldn't be any problem with this one, unless, of course, your income is above the new cutoff. And starting Monday, according to the IRS, you'll be able to check status through the Get My Payment tool. As always, I want to thank everybody for watching to the end. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.